Shalom. Call hello Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and blessing to all the Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. To the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayat, the Dawadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations, all right? Tonight's lesson is entitled, When in Rome, Do as the Romans Do. All right, so I'm going to get started with the book of Romans. Romans chapter 13. Excuse me. Romans 13, verse 1. Let me get there real quick. Romans 13 and 1. And it says, Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of the Most High. The powers that be are ordained of the Most High, okay? So, be subject under the powers that were ordained to have power over you through the will and power of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's what that's saying. And when you look up the word ordained in the blue letter, let me get it real quick. Ordained goes back to the Greek. Oh, hold on.
Strong's G 5021. Tasso.
To put in order, to station, to place in a certain order, to arrange, to assign a place, to appoint. So basically, to establish, to appoint on one's own responsibility or authority. Okay? So Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai is the one who ordained these devils to be over us. Okay, so we're going to get the book of Daniel, chapter 4, verse 17, and it says, This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the men by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the bases of men. All right, and we already know who the base man is. It's Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Okay, so right now Esau Edom is in rulership, and like I said before in Romans 13 and 1, let me read it here. And remember, he gave Esau Edom the authority of rulership over us. And it says, Romans 13 and 1, Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of the Most High. The powers that be are ordained of the power, okay? So, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai is the one who put these devils over us. And that reason being is because of our disobedience, okay? Going down to this is going to be Romans, going back to the 13th chapter, going down to verse 2, and it says, Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of the Most High, and they that resist shall receive themselves damnation. So, you know, if you resist the ones that the Lord put in place of rulership and authority, you shall receive that. You're going to receive, that punishment. You'll be punished for it. Okay, because remember, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai is the one that rules in the kingdom of men. So whoever he puts over you, okay, you have to follow their order through his will. Okay, so if you disobey them, you're disobeying the Lord. Okay. going down to verse 2. I mean, not verse 2, verse 3. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. So, okay, these rulers that the Lord put in place over us, they are not meant to be, they're meant to be, a terror unto those that do wickedly. But for those that do good works, they're not put in place to punish those that are good, only those who do wickedly. So that that's why the question says in verse 3, wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? You have to fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai in order to keep your ass in line and not go off and do something stupid that's going to get you in trouble. And like I said, I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. I'm still getting my shit together. So, I'm doing the best I can to, steer clear of any kind of trouble. All right, so it says, do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. So if you do what is right, according to those that the Lord put over you, they'll honor you. Okay? All right, and we're going to go to first book of First Peter. First Peter chapter 2. Starting at verse 13, it says, submit yourself to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake, whether it be to the king as supreme. Verse 14, or to governors as unto them that are sent by him for the punishment of evildoers and for the praise of them that do well. Okay? So you have to humble yourself and just learn to accept the fact that, whoever the Lord puts over you, you have to do what they say by his will. Being in Esau, Edom, the so-called white man's kingdom, Esau, Edom is over us right now. So we have to abide by his laws, even though his laws are crooked as all hell. But we have to, we just have to, bite our tongue, keep ourselves, restrained and not do something stupid. We'll have to suffer for it. So, that's why, let me see, let me keep going down here. Verse 15. Verse 15, for so is the will of the Most High, that with well-doing ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. So as long as you do good and stay out of trouble, people can't say shit about you. They'll look stupid themselves for making false accusations against you. So that's why you just, mind your own business, do what is right, and just go on about your day and stay cool. Verse 16, as free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness, but as servants of the Most High. So even though, in Esau, Edom's kingdom, they talk about everyone, freedom. But, even though it says you're free, but that doesn't mean you could just go off and use that freedom to do whatever the hell you want, because eventually it's going to come back around to bite you in the ass. So you remember, in Esau, Edom's world, even though we're not free, that's just the illusion, but we are still servants to the higher power, which is Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay? Verse 17, honor all men, which means to respect everybody, love the brotherhood, those that are in the truth, fear the Most High, and honor the king. So respect all men. You have to have that level of respect for others, as well as those that are over you, through the will and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And first and foremost, fear the Most High, because he's the one that put them over you. So, like I said before, my grandfather has always said, sometimes you got to eat a little bit of dirty rice. Just got to put up with the bullshit in order to get through. Verse 18, It says, servants, be subject to your masters with all fear, not only to the good and gentle, but also to the froward. So we have to, be obedient unto, whether it be, your supervisors at work, your managers or whatnot, just anybody that has authority over you, even if they're lenient, or they seem kind-hearted, or if they seem like an asshole, or just someone who's just stuck up and rude. Just gotta bite your tongue, man. Just deal with it. That's where patience comes in, and patience is a virtue, I tell you. Verse 19, for this is thankworthy, if a man for conscience toward the Most High endure grief, suffering wrongfully. So, it's thankworthy that you suffer for the Lord's sake. If a man for conscience toward the Most High endure grief, suffering wrongfully. So we have to suffer all this bullshit because it's considered thankworthy that you are able to deal with it. It's to build you up, so to speak, to get you to build up that patience and endurance. This is what's that roughly paraphrasing, he that is slow to anger is of much understanding. So this is just a test to see if you're gonna snap or if you're gonna hold it together. And sometimes we all gotta just need a moment to walk away and just be out of sight and out of mind for maybe a minute or two, and just take a deep breath and just let it all out. And then by the time we get home, we blow off some steam by getting on the punching bag or exercising or doing whatever you gotta do just to get that negative energy out of you. Verse 20, for what glory is it if when ye be buffeted for your faults, buffeted meaning, being punished, ye shall take it patiently. But if when ye do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable with the Most High. So, it's better that you do well and suffer for it rather than, be punished for something that you did wrong. Okay? It's better, like I said, it's to be blameless. Verse 21, for even hereunto were ye called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. So Yahweh Shai is that perfect example because he kept the laws perfectly. He had the discipline to endure bullshit. Even though it vexed him, but he still had the patience to just, just bite his tongue, restrain himself and just carry on. And that, that's part of having humility. Anybody that has any type of pride, they'll buck up. They can't let shit slide. Verse 22, who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. So Yahweh Shai never did wrong, and there was no ill or froward thing that came out of his mouth whenever he spoke. Nothing ill or wicked. 23, who when he was reviled not again. So Yahweh Shai never retaliated, whether it be mentally, physically, or verbally. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously. So, while you're going through whatever it is that you're going through, man, you just pray to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, and he'll take care of it. Even though our flesh says, no, you get that son of a... No. That's why, we're in this fleshly bodies, but we do not... being in this flesh, but we do not war after the flesh, okay? We do not give ourselves into these carnal, we do not give into these carnal desires, all right? 24. Who his own self bare our sins in his own body on the tree, that we being dead to sin should live unto righteousness, by whose stripes ye were healed. So Yahweh Shai took all the hell for our sakes. just so that we could get back in the good graces of the Heavenly Father and to do right. So, you know, when someone sacrifices themselves for your sake, I mean, what more could you ask of a person? What more could you ask? Like, what more do you want? Verse 25, for ye were as sheep going astray, but are now returned unto the shepherd and bishop of your souls. And that's Yahweh Shai. You know, Lord willing that we are those sheep that followed him through the regeneration. You know, my sheep hear my voice and they follow me, roughly paraphrasing. So, Lord willing that we are those elect sheep. You know, this captivity is almost over. We are almost out of here. Lord willing that we are of the elect. All right, now we're going to go to, this is going to be the third chapter in 1 Peter. All right, it's going to be chapter 3, verse 16. It says, having a good conscience, that whereas they speak evil of you, as of evildoers, they may be ashamed that falsely accuse your good conversation, Hamashiach. Verse 17, for it is better, if the will of the Most High be so, that ye suffer for well-doing than for evil-doing. So, having a good conscience, you know, having a clear mind, doing what is right, that whereas that those that speak evil of you, they'll be ashamed because you did no wrong and you had no ill intent. So if you did nothing wrong or nothing suspicious or whatever, and they make these accusations, and the superiors that are over you and over them, they examine you, they see nothing wrong going on, you know, it's like you guys have nothing on him. So again, it is better to suffer for well-doing than for evil-doing. So it's better that you suffer righteously than wickedly. Do the right thing and suffer for it. You know, Yahweh Shem Shai got your back. Okay? All right, we're going to the book of Titus. It's going to be chapter 2, verse 7. It says, in all things showing thyself a pattern of good works, in doctrine showing uncorruptness, gravity, sincerity. Verse 8, sound speech that cannot be condemned, that he that is of the contrary part may be ashamed, having no evil thing to say of you. So, in all things, you know, lead by example, lead by good example, righteous example, okay? And you know, and showing no perverseness, don't contradict yourself in any way, shape, or form, you know. By your teachings and by what you've learned, you know, lead by that good example. And sound, like I said, sound speech that cannot be condemned, you know, by this doctrine. This doctrine is a sound speech. That he is that is of the contrary, who is against you. He has no evil thing to say about you. He can't say shit. You know, with that old saying, those who talk shit don't know shit. So let them talk all the shit they want. And if others are willing to believe everything they say, that just goes to show that they lack knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You know, they don't know shit themselves. They're not far off from being they're not too far off from being just like those who talk shit. All right, and this I'm gonna close out with Philippians here. It's gonna be Philippians chapter 2. Philippians chapter 2, verse 15. And it says, I'm going to start at verse 14. Actually, I'm going to start at verse 13. And it says, for it is the Most High which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. 14, do all things without murmurings and disputings. So no shit talk, no arguments, no starting up, no shit. Okay, verse 15 says that ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of the power, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world. Okay, so, you know, even though we're in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, Esau, Edom's crooked and perverse nation, because that's who the Most High appointed over us, we have to remain blameless and just keep ourselves, on the straight and narrow. Yeah, there are times when, this flesh tends to just tempt us, but you got to fight that temptation. Just the book of Joshua. Let me get it. Let me just get it. Joshua. All right, this is going to be Joshua. The book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 8. And it says, "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success." So meditate day and night on these scriptures, on this book here, man, because that's gonna be, excuse me, because this book is gonna be the one thing that's gonna save your ass out of certain situations, and most importantly of all, keep you in the good graces of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay, so once again, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Just a couple of good quotes. Sometimes you gotta eat a little bit of dirty rice. No matter how much it sucks, just gotta deal with the bullshit until it's over. And those who talk shit don't know shit. So let all these people say whatever the hell they want. They don't know shit about you. As long as you do what's right and remain blameless, at the end of the day, they're the ones that are going to be looking foolish, not you. So I hope that this was an edifying lesson unto the body and to those that are new coming in, listening and learning with all sincerity. All praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all the Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayath of Davidah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. Okay? See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala wa Abba Babal. Shalom. Barakatham.